Hi there. This is Dr. Elena Estanol from Intuitive Business Mastery. Thank you so much for downloading your guide, Quantum Leap Your Results, Increased Practices for Productivity and Performance in Our Evolving World. Now, that guide, it's on its way to your mailbox as we speak. And I want to take a few minutes and ask you to please just either bookmark this page to come back to it, or give yourself the next 30 minutes or so to be able to go through this guide with me. Now, why am I asking this question? Partly because I know that with as good intentions as you have to be able to really quantum leap your results and increase your focus and your productivity, that you are gonna download the guide, get super busy, and think, okay, I'm going to come back to this later. And then later, it's not really going to happen and you won't really get the results. Now, why am I saying this? Do I know you? Well, I know human nature. I know me. I know that I do those things as well. And that no matter how great the intentions that I have, if I don't actually make the time to consume the information, to apply it to myself, it is complete garbage. No matter how amazing and incredible the information is that I am receiving. So I took the time to create this mini training to guide you through the particular guide that you're going to be receiving. So I'm going to ask you to either bookmark this page for you to come back and actually set a time in your schedule and a timer for you to actually come back, or to please just take the next 30 minutes and go through this with me. You will not regret it, I promise, okay? So right now, just pause the video, go to your email, and download the guide from your email. It might be on your junk mail as well, you know? Emails like to do that, so go ahead and take it either from your junk mail or your regular mail and just pull it up so that we can go through it with you. So I am going to be sharing my screen so that I can kind of guide you through some of this stuff with you. I firmly believe that information without application is garbage. So if you're not going to take the time to do it and apply it, it's just going to be cluttering your inbox. It's going to be cluttering your mind, and it's going to be cluttering your life. And guess what? I didn't work so hard for me to become cluttered. I really want to help you. And I am certain that if you take the time to learn and apply these strategies, your life can completely transform. And I can only say that because of all of the thousands of people that I have worked with, all of the athletes, performers, CEOs, speakers, experts, and healers that I have worked with that actually have the time, that have taken the time to apply these strategies, that have worked with me either individually or taken part of my group programs, or just simply actually took these strategies and applied them. Okay, so here we go. Let me share my screen. So what you're going to be getting, well, I'm scrolling through the first page, and looks a little bit like this, right? And why did I create this guide? Partly because our world is demanding more and more and more from each of us. There are some life-changing events that are happening that are requiring for all of us to really step up into a higher level of being, a higher level of leadership, and a higher level of performance. We're also bombarded by a multitude of things each and every day that is constantly vying for our attention. Emails, Facebook notifications, Twitter, Instagram, text, whatever that is, right? Not to mention your family, your friends, your loved ones, your partners, and your business or your life purpose. And so all of a sudden, everything seems to be demanding for our attention, that now we have the attention span of a goldfish, 9 seconds. Now, this doesn't have to stay this way. This is part of what's happening, and we need to up level and upgrade our operating system, so to speak. So our bodies are constantly changing and upgrading, and we have been functioning with old software. So we really need to be upgrading our operating system so that we can be functioning at the best and highest levels that we can. And I believe that we can do that through applying 3 different principles. One is managing our energetic flow. It is not a mystery anymore that we are comprised of energy. Everything about us is energy. Everything in the universe is energy. And how we manage that energetic flow, it's going to make the difference between success and failure, making it and breaking it, sink or swim. The second principle is being able to find or create a system that works for you, and being able to systematize things so that things go into flow, rather than constantly having to reinvent the wheel. And the third is to quantum leap time and to really, truly master our relationship to time. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time telling you a lot about me, partly because I'm a catalyst for high performance. I'm a nerd that I spent 17 years in higher ed. I have another 16 years of experience having helped high-level entrepreneurs, athletes, performers, CEOs, and it's really not about me, it's about you. I'm committed to helping you really elevate and become the expanded being that I know that you are truly capable of being able to really step into that next level of performance, that next level of leadership, that next level of presence and influence that you want to have in the world. So we're going to start with managing your energetic flow. And as you are watching this video and following this training, know that this is probably going to be the biggest part of our training. So we must catalyze all 4 sources of energy in a way that it becomes fluid. So the 4 sources of energy have a meeting point, and those 4 sources of energy are what I call spiritual energy or intensity, emotional energy or quality, the quality of our energy, physical energy or the quantity of the energy that we have, and mental energy or focus. These are all types of energy that people tend to struggle with. A lot of times we think about spiritual energy as motivation, emotional energy as attitude, being positive or negative, physical energy with actually being energized physically and having the dynamism to do the things that we want to do, and then of course mental energy as focus. So this guide, even though it is 12 or 20 or 20 some pages, I want to dissect and take you through each so that you can actually apply it. I have done it in like super applied way. So one of the practices that one of the biggest practices, okay, that you need to be able to increase and catalyze the intention, right, of your energy is mindfulness, being able to become fully present to yourself. A lot of times we think about motivation, and I believe that motivation is the thing that we need when we have to do stuff that we don't want to do. So everybody is obsessed with becoming motivated, which I think is the wrong thing to be obsessed about. I think that what we need to be really tapping into is inspiration and not motivation. Inspiration means filled with spirit. It means elevated, expanded, right? And when we are fully tuned in, we are charged, we are energized, we are experiencing joy and expansion and creativity and flow. So the idea is that we can help tap into that. And this is part of finding our divine calling, our wisdom, of finding complete and utter alignment with the things that we are meant to do and the things that we are here to do, versus just going through a to-do list, right? So in order to do that, you need to give yourself time to connect to yourself and your high self. If you do not have a practice, then I would like for you to begin to consider setting a practice to start learning or practicing meditation or mindfulness. You can set timers to go off randomly, or you could set off timers to ask, am I being fully focused on this experience? Am I being fully focused on this person, on this task, or in this one thing? So right now, if you are multitasking, then I'm going to ask, stop. Stop the phone, stop the computer, stop the multitasking, and then give yourself the gift of being fully present. Open up a notebook, bring a pen, and then really be present here with me. Take stuff in so that this can truly change and alter your life. So let's take a couple deep breaths, shall we? A nice exhale. I'm saying a nice 4 count in 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. You can pause the tape and take more time, but I hope that you notice just even taking a couple of deep breaths all of a sudden settles your energy, grounds it. And things become more clear, more pristine. You are now here. You are here now, right? Now with me, here and now, right? So in order to be able to get that practice, meditation is one of the best strategies. If you are new to my tribe, then you probably will hear me talking about meditation on and off. If you are part of my tribe, then you've probably heard me and or have heard some of my meditations. Now, why I believe in meditation is that obviously through my training as a psychologist, there is this plethora of research that confirms that we can completely alter our brains. We can change the structure of our brain and expand through neuroplasticity simply by practicing meditation. We can start with 5 minutes a day and add a minute a week until you find the ideal time. So give yourself the time in silence to process. Now, after that, it's usually not a bad idea to have actually a quiet practice afterwards where you can write by keeping a journal by your bed, writing your dreams, feelings. Now, a lot of times people find that having a quiet practice where they're actually moving is helpful. So it could be walking or taking a bath. Maybe it's doodling or doing some art. Maybe it's doing yoga. It doesn't matter what it is for you that allows you to get into your flow. The important piece is that you actually take the time to do something that you really, really love. Okay? And then that you make some time to jot a few of the insights that you are gathering so that you are able to then apply those. The fourth piece is attunement. And wow, I've changed the name of this since I wrote this, but the idea is that you want to connect with both with your head, your gut, and your heart. When we are trying to make decisions from our head, we end up spinning. Have you had that experience? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Oh my gosh, should I do this? Should I do this? Blah, 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 blah. And pretty soon you're like spinning out of control. You completely like disappeared like 3 hours of your time. And you are more confused than you were at the beginning. Sound familiar? Okay, so this is really, truly a system for you to be able to start tuning in and listening to your divine purpose, to your divine mission. You have the answers. You have the wisdom. I consider myself to be only a guide on the side, not the person that holds the wisdom for you, simply a mirror that reflects it for you. Okay, and then the last thing is that through all of this, that you become and you start asking, what is my most aligned priority for today? This is the map. The most aligned priority is the one that is designated and it's in most alignment with you, with your day, with what's going to happen in that particular day and your values and your purpose. And then for you to actually make this map, this most aligned priority, your first focus to tackle. Okay, so that's the first. Intensity is the first source of energy. Quality is the second source of energy. right? And quality is when we begin to start thinking about both positive or negative. There is now this beautiful scale that actually talks about the different levels at which we experience different vibrations of energetic, of energy, right? And it is now not a secret. It has now been well established that love, peace, and joy are at the highest vibration energies. This is the most expansive, that creates openings, opportunity, and optimism. So we want to be focused on creating those positive emotions. Okay. I'm kind of scrolling down so that you can look at what the practices are. Of course, you're going to have the time to hopefully come back to read this guide, but I really want to kind of share and point out to some of these things. I want you to be able to focus on practice experiencing love, joy, hope, compassion, gratitude, optimism, excitement. So in some ways, love is expansive, fear is constrictive. So go towards the thing that's expanding you. My clients laugh that I always say, what you focus is what grows. So if you're focused on all of the worst case scenarios of things that could happen, then don't be surprised if that's happening. That's what we call the self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So if you want something positive and amazing to happen in your life, then start focusing on those things fully and completely, because you are capable of creating that, whether that's for your business, for your health, for your love life, for your life in general, whether it's financial, physical, emotional. You can create whatever it is that you want. Okay. You want to visualize and decide the outcome, and really, really focus on the feeling. When I talk about visualization, I'm going to make this clear, because a lot of times there's tons and tons of people that talk about visualization. And actually, when we say visualization, it actually is only keeping it one-dimensional, which is on the visual. I like to think about it as imagination, imagery, where you are actually physically transporting yourself. And this is a little bit of this is falling on one of the third principles of quantum leaping time, transforming yourself to the future. And the idea behind this is that it's not just a visual, because a lot of times the visuals keep us disconnected. It's like watching TV. The idea of you fully transporting your being out into the future, where you can sense, feel, experience, smell, hear everything that is going to be happening at that moment, as well as seeing it, brings your vibration to that. Now, I believe that we create our reality in two times, once internally and once when we manifest it. So if you want to begin manifesting with ease and flow, become a magical manifester, so to speak, it's what my husband, some of my friends call me, then begin to start focusing on the feelings and the full experience. Now, the second practice is to start a celebration or a gratitude journal. I want you to describe in great detail at a positive event at least 3 times, or tell it to your friends. And to also be able to create a list of the things that you're really grateful. And it could be just bullet points and a list of positive words. Now, why this is? Well, from a neurobiological perspective, our brains and our egos are wired in some ways to be like Teflon for negative experiences, and like Teflon for positive experiences, and like Velcro for negative experiences. So we want to actually rewire the opposite. We want to be able to be Velcro for the positive experiences, so we have a larger reservoir of positive experiences that we can use, so that we can create those positive experiences in ourselves, regardless of what's happening around us, right? And I have recorded a gratitude meditation that there's a link up above that you can have access to listen to, okay? The fourth one is to actually focus on growth. There was this idea at some point that we either had something or we don't, right? Like I am capable or I'm not capable. I have the skills or I don't have the skills. And this is a really old old way of experiencing and being in the world. And if you are still thinking this way, like, well, I can't do that because that's not me, I don't have this, I don't know how to do, then you are already creating all kinds of limitations and glass ceilings for you. Okay? Really, the sky's the limit. So whatever it is that you want to be, do, have, or create, you are fully capable of doing it. But so you want to be focused on growth. You want to be focused on, what do I need to do to be able to experience this? What do I need to learn? What do I need to experience? And notice how you are improving and growing. Failure is part of it. Getting scuffs and falling flat on your face is a part of it. So fall faster, fail faster, and then get up, wipe yourself up, and try again. Because it is not the people that don't fall that succeed. It's actually the people that are willing to take the leaps, that are willing to fall, that get to fly. Okay? Then the fourth, this is super, super important. You get to surround yourself with positive, optimistic, and successful people. As a dancer, I was a ballerina in my old first career, and we understood that we needed one another to push ourselves to improve. Every single Olympic athlete that I've worked with knows that in order to increase their capability, their skill level, they have to go train with the best of the best. When I took up aerial dance, I remembered taking a few lessons, and then I told my teacher, hey, so I'm going to go to level 2. And she looked at me like, and I said, is that not okay? And she's like, well, she very kindly basically told me, you're going to be the worst one. And as long as you don't get frustrated, then it should be fine. Now, the thing of it is that I knew I was going to be fine because I understood this. I knew that if I wanted to get to a higher level, I needed to go hang out and surround myself and train with those people. Even if initially I felt like I didn't know anything, it didn't matter. Like, I was willing to feel like I was the worst, to feel like a failure, to feel like some of that embarrassment and humiliation, because I knew that if I stayed surrounded by this amazing group of people that are pushing themselves, I will just rise to that level. That's what we do naturally as human beings. This is why it's so, so, so important that you are plugged in and connected to an incredible mastermind that is going to have your back, that is going to support you, is going to cheer you, and is going to push you to keep growing and growing. So if you're looking for a mastermind that is optimistic, upbeat, it's going to push you and hold you and challenge you to grow to the next level, just reach out to me and we can talk about whether you might be the right fit for mine. The third area of how you are going to govern your energy is focus. Now, this is one area that most people struggle with, and this might very well have been the reason why you downloaded this guide. Now, there are different sources that are related to focus. A lot of times people think of attention and focus as being the same thing, but they're actually two different but related concepts. Attention is your ability to stay present and engaged in something. So I hope that you actually stop the multitasking, stop trying to do all of these other things, and you are being here with me, fully present, maybe taking notes. Now, focus is about your ability to narrow your attention to a particular task, thing, or person, and then being able to sustain it for a longer period of time, which is where most of us are failing. This is where most of us are falling short because A, we are not able to keep our focus on one thing because we are distracted by every shiny thing. And 2, we're not able to keep it for long periods of time. And have you ever had an experience of flow? Have you ever experienced that peak performance where everything just happens seamlessly? When everything just comes together, it seems like magic. It is the most intoxicating feeling in the world. It is just so addictive. It is amazing. It is part of the reason why I do what I do, because I experienced it as a young age, and then I just kept trying to figure out how do I get into flow more and more and more. And in some ways, it's part of what I love teaching people. It's like, how do they get to achieve in flow? How do they get to become legendary? How do they get to expand their capabilities, break through their glass ceilings, and do it without all the hustle and with all of the flow and ease and that acceleration, right? So we cannot get to flow. And why I'm talking about flow is that we cannot get to flow if we do not learn how to focus. So focus is the single most important skill an ability to develop for you to experience this amazing feeling of synergy, interconnection, magical manifestation, right? Because we perform at that level when we are focused and relaxed. So what are the practices? And again, I'm going through these practices not because you have to do them all. I want you to actually pick one. Maybe there's one area that you are doing really good and other areas where you're not doing so good. So I want you to pick one or two areas and decide this is really what I need to be working on myself, right? Stop the multitasking. Start with the most aligned priority and focus on the things that are going to generate 80% of your results or your profits, whether you are a business person or you are simply wanting to improve your relationship, right? Usually I am working with soulful entrepreneurs, and so a lot of times it's focused to that, but this is something that you can apply to just about anything. Now, here are a couple of exercises for you to increase that focus. So if you're really wanting to improve it, pay attention, okay? If you want to focus, there are 4 different types of attentional foci, okay? One is a narrow external. We're going to focus on one particular object for 2 minutes. We're going to increase to up to 5 minutes, okay? The idea is that you are not going to stop focusing on that object until the time is up, okay? So that's the narrow external. Then you're going to move to the next to be able to take everything externally, and you're going to focus on everything that you see around you, and then you're going to try to recall as many things as you saw. Then we're going to go internally. You're going to focus on one thing, your breath, your heart rate, a single word. And hopefully we're going to do that for 5 minutes. Now, does this sound familiar? Yes, it is. This focus practice is actually exactly the same thing that we do during meditation. Who knew, right? And then the 4th is that we're going to be brainstorming solutions to a particular problem. And we're going to be trying to look at all of the things that might be coming in. Then you want to chunk out your work period between 45 and 50 minutes. The more that you extend the time that you can stay focused, the more joy you're going to experience, because all of a sudden, time's going to stop. All of the distractions are going to get quiet. And all of a sudden, it's just you doing the thing that you do. For me, it's writing. It happens to me when I'm dancing. It happens to me when I'm talking. Actually, sometimes happens when I'm recording videos, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, that was 40 minutes. Whoa. But the idea is that you lose track of time because you are so immersed in the activity, and it's awesome. And then you don't want to be interrupted, okay? You want to be getting kitchen timers to be able to chunk out your work and then to be able to break it up. Now, the last thing is hire a coach or a mentor to guide you or help you. It's going to save you thousands of money and thousands of time to really be able to have somebody that has your back, that is holding you accountable, that is guiding you as to what are the things that you need to be focused on. Hire an assistant. Really try to get focused on being and creating on your area of genius. When we are doing the stuff that we love, we are amazing and we enjoy it. It doesn't even feel like work. And don't be afraid to ask for support. So you know where to reach me, intuitivebusinessmastery.com. Now, the 4th source of energy is quantity. So we talked about intensity, right? Like the alignment and how intense that energy is. And when you're fully charged and plugged into source, you don't need motivation. It's just flowing from within. The second was the quality of your energy, whether it's a high vibration or a low vibration energy. And the third one was focus. And then the 4th one is quantity. And this really refers to like the physical energy that you have. And so we are the focus practices go to sleep. If you know me, you might have heard me that I've talked a little bit about my struggles in going to sleep, and not because I can't sleep, but because I don't like to. I am a night owl. I get into flow at night. And so to be able to stop that to go to sleep, it's really, really difficult. However, I usually don't wake up super early in the morning. So I am actually getting this, I am getting a significant amount of time. It's just that it's not happening at the right time, right? So the idea is that if we are skimping on sleep, it's going to impact our ability to be in flow, our ability to be creative, our ability to heal and re-energize our body, our working memory capacity, our ability to remember the things that we need to do, to stay focused, to stay on task. So sleep is so, so, so huge. I've met so many entrepreneurs that are doing all of the other things that seem to be the right thing to do. And then when I actually ask them about sleep, it's like, oh, well, I'm getting like 6 hours or like 5 hours or like 4 hours. And I'm like, well, here's a problem, right? Or, it's surprising that we take such special care of a fancy new car, of making sure that they have the oil changes and just the right kind of gas, and my hair's kind of crazy, and the right kind of gas. But then when it comes to our bodies, we're like pulling up to McDonald's and Taco Bell. So notice how when you're eating nutritious, highly nutritious foods, when you're hungry and stopping when you're full, that your ability to be present, your ability to perform is going to increase 100-fold. Now, this is an example I've noticed. I'm an aerial dancer, I mentioned that, and you need a fair amount of both strength and muscular endurance to stay up on the silk, because you are holding your weight pretty much the entire time. Now, our routines are not super long, but you still need an incredible amount of strength and endurance. And I notice that when I'm eating not so great foods for me, all of a sudden, my muscles fatigue a lot faster. I'm out of breath a lot more. And the times that I have fallen off the silk, I hope that won't happen ever again, have been when basically my muscles run out of energy. And when I'm eating really, really well, all of a sudden I'm like a different person. Like I can go forever and ever. I am like pushing and I'm doing like amazing things. So, notice how what you are putting into your body is going to actually manifest in how you're showing up, your energy level, and your ability to be productive. Okay. The third thing is hydration. We're about 80% comprised of water. So if you are not taking the time to hydrate properly, then you are probably going to experience feeling kind of slow and having headaches and not feeling so great. And then the last is like intuitive movement. We are kinetic beings. We are meant to be moving and grooving and dancing and shaking. And of course, I'm a dancer. Of course, I'm saying these things, right? But do things that bring you joy and laughter, something that is fun, that is challenging, and switch it up. So we do so much of our life is like tasks, do, more, goals. And eventually everything becomes drudgery. It's all a to-do thing. And then we just feel crappy because we're not doing those things. So we're forgetting the enjoyment and the excitement and just the enjoyment of doing something that you absolutely love. Usually, whenever I'm feeling stuck, all I need to do is actually switch to doing something that I absolutely love, and I immediately get into flow and get unstuck super fast. So I hope that now you can go through all 4 of these areas, and the idea is that now you're going to pick 1 or 2 things that you're going to be focused on. Okay, now I have a fun little challenge for you for the next 7 days. Okay, so somewhere down below in this page, there's going to be a link to my Facebook group. So you're going to want to join it. It's called the Luminous Conscious Entrepreneurs. And then you are going to do a hashtag saying 7-day quantum challenge. And in it, you're going to tell us what it is that you are actually going to be focusing on, what particular strategy or technique or skill you're going to be focused on developing. It could be one thing for all 7 days. It could be that you try one thing one new thing each of those 7 days. It doesn't matter. You just tell us that you are doing it, what it is that you're doing, and what are you noticing that's different, and perhaps why it is that you picked that thing. Okay. Those of you that complete all 7 days and post about it will then be entered into a little raffle for a drawing for free tuition for my course, Attract Clients Like These Do, Honey. Okay, so you're going to want to do that. Now I'm going to go to principle number 2, which is to find or create a system that works for you. And I want to start by saying that if you all of a sudden got a little by hearing the word system, I'm with you. I'm your brother or I'm your sister. Okay, like we're siblings. I have, one of the things that I have had to learn throughout my life is to really value structure and systems. It's something that I have resisted for a long time. Guess why? Because I want to be free. I want to be a free bird. I want to do and experience all kinds of things, and I don't want to be constrained by anything. And unbeknownst to me, I recognize that actually not having a system is what was keeping me trapped, and that creating systems and creating schedules is the thing that has brought more freedom into my life than anything else. So I want you to maybe even stop and rewind and listen, that systems and structures bring more freedom into our lives. And some of you may be like, yeah, I know. And I'm just talking to those of you that may have resisted, because I know that I was one for many, many years, and it's taken me a long time. Now, the second piece that I want to say about systems is that I am not going to give you a blueprint of what it is that you need to do. I am giving you ideas and I'm giving you a framework, but ultimately it needs to be your system. It needs to be based on what works for you. And you need to have, and you will need to do a fair amount of trial and error. So please don't give up on yourself. If you try something and it doesn't work, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It means that perhaps that particular arrangement wasn't the best, and that you need to keep tweaking and working with it for you to find what is going to be the right system for you. I have a few suggestions and ideas that I will give you, and I hope that that will spur some of yours. But feel free to share those with us at the Facebook group, or for you, send me an email and let me know. Okay, so the idea is that we want to create routines. Routines save our lives because it helps us kind of go, not necessarily in autopilot, because I don't ever want you to be so much an autopilot that you're very disconnected, but that you are not having to be thinking and creating the wheel anew each day, each time, each moment, because that drains an incredible amount of energy. So again, we are about efficiency, right? And our bodies actually love efficiency. So the idea is that you're going to create a routine that's going to work for you. So if you're going to integrate one of those practices into your routines, then you're going to want to take a look at where in your routine does that fit best. Right? So for instance, when I decided that I decided and made the commitment that I was going to add meditation into my life and into my practice, I really needed to look at where I was going to fit it, because I tried timers, and timers reminded me, but sometimes reminded me, and then I didn't have the time, and then I felt rushed, and that didn't really quite work. And I tried meditating at different times, and ultimately, I settled into a system that was part of my morning routine. It's a system that I call RPM, and that is simply the initials of what happens. You know, I started looking at like what happens. Well, I wake up and I get up, and what's the first thing I do? I pee. Okay, so I go pee, and then what do? And it was like, well, then I sit and I pet my cat and I like contemplate for the day. And so I'm like, okay, so that's actually where I need to put the meditation. And so that now I have rise, pee, meditate, right? And that's part of my morning routine. And so interestingly, my cats are now like, they know I meditate, and then that's the time that they love to come and sit in my lap. Perfect. It works for all of us, right? And then after that, I can then stretch or do yoga or eat breakfast. And that just has become such a part of my routine that I would say that I never miss. You know, I maybe have missed when I'm like traveling overnight and my routine's disrupted, and maybe I miss. But in general, it is not anything that I need to give a thought to. So whenever you need to try to do something different, you want to insert it into a routine. It could be a morning routine, a transition routine, a work routine, or a bedtime routine. Okay. You also want to be able to create mindful breaks and creating systems and processes for things that you frequently do so that you can replicate them. If you are in business, you want to spend the time to create systems and processes. You will be surprised how many business owners I work with that when I start asking them what are the systems and processes that they have, they cannot tell me. Or they tell me, well, I do blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, what about your employees? And their employees have no idea. So the idea here is to simplify, to make your life better, more efficient, and more enjoyable, right? So again, if there's something that you would like some more pointed help with, I am happy to do so. Do what you do best, delegate. Now, you want to get into the practice of saying no and saying it often. And why do I say this is that people that are most successful say no to most things. And that is simply because they have understood that in order to become successful at what they want to do, they need to stay focused and they need to narrow that focus. Now, I am somebody that has really, really struggled with this. Okay, so I'm not just saying, oh, well, just say no. Well, I have struggled with it, and partly because I am somebody that I want to be nice, I want to help people, and I want people to like me, right? So there's a few things that were kind of guiding those things. And I literally had to start practicing phrases that I would feel comfortable saying. And then I had to practice saying them in front of a mirror before I could even say them to a person. And they needed to be phrases that were super aligned with who I was so that I could say it and feel good. So now it's super easy for me to do that. And I feel really, really good. And I think most of the times that people, when I'm saying no, I'm being really honest. Somebody asked me if I could support their launch. And I said, I would love to support you. And it's going to depend on the dates. What are the dates that you're doing that? And they said, well, it's going to be during this and these dates. And I said, unfortunately, I'm already promoting 4 different things during that period, and I'm not able to support you, but please get back with me with other dates, and maybe we can find a time where I can support you better. So it is really important because it honors me, actually, and it honors them, especially when it comes to those kinds of things. If you're already at that level where you're doing joint venture partnerships and being an affiliate for other people, telling them that you're going to support them and then not doing it and not following through is actually a much bigger disappointment and letdown for them than if you had just said from the start, I can't. So just a few pieces, food for thought, okay? And then the third thing is stick to the system. Whatever system you create, stick to it. Hire a coach to hold you accountable, get your mastermind to hold you accountable, okay? So I am including in here a few peak performance planners that allow you to kind of track what are you doing for spiritual energy, physical energy, that kind of thing, and write down your most aligned priority, other tasks and priorities. Now you can print this, make copies, use it all the time. I did a blank one so that you can add whatever it is that works for you. You can pick and choose and integrate. This is about this being the best for you and making the experience work for you. Okay. The last thing, and I'm just kind of trying to go as fast as I can so that I stay in this a little bit. And I really, really honor you and appreciate you for hanging in there, for listening and actually taking action, because you are going to be so glad that you have actually taken this little bit of time and picked what is the thing that you're going to do and commit to doing so that you can actually start seeing the results in your life and in your business. So the idea of Quantum Leap Time, we talked a little bit about this at the beginning when we talked about imagery and really transporting yourself fully into the future and really being able to feel and sense all of that. Now, it also serves being able to transport yourself into the past and being able to heal. I do this a lot through our work of integrating stories and healing those stories as we are leaping backwards and recreating and rewriting new stories so that we can move forward. And this is integrated with all of our senses, our experiences, our feelings, so that it becomes real. Now, the next piece of quantum leaping, it's being able to start creating both a master schedule and a master calendar. And again, these are other templates that I'm including that you can choose to use at your at however you would like to use them. The idea here is that you want to start creating some structure to help you become most focused and most productive. Now, I have 2 online schedulers, and you might be surprised to see that I still have a master calendar that looks like this. And the reality of it is that there's 2 reasons why I chose to do this. One is that it's convenient, it's super fast, and I can just write stuff down. There's a second piece that when I'm writing and seeing it just in real time, it just helps solidify in my body. Something that, for whatever reason, the virtual calendars are not doing for me. Now, I'm giving you that example because I want you to really know that it's not about choosing a system there, that the system can be super simple. It is just a system that needs to work for you. Okay, I have a client, and if you're listening to this, you know who you are, and I say you are really masterful at making things really complicated, and just brilliant being, and can create this incredible grids of stuff, and then can get lost trying to do all of those grids. And so a lot of times systems that look really beautiful and really fancy can actually take away more of your time than something super simple that is actually going to work for you. So experiment and do whatever works for you. Okay, so I'm going to stop the share, and I want to encourage you to look at wherever it is, the link here for my Facebook page, for my Facebook group rather, and join me. Okay, start the challenge and start telling us what are the things that you are adopting, that you're trying, what are you noticing about doing it, any questions that you have. And those of you that actually complete all 7 days and post for all 7 days will be entered into a drawing for a free tuition for my Attract Clients Like Bees to Honey program. And that is a fantastic addition, because in some ways it brings you back to really being able to get super to that alignment piece of who you are, what are you going to bring, and then how are you going to use yourself and your story to be able to create that attraction in your clients. So I'm going to raffle off a couple, I'm not sure how many tuition tickets for that program. So as many of you that join and actually complete all 7, you all will be entered for a chance to win it. Now, if you are kind of feeling like, oh my gosh, this is really great, and now I have to actually take the time to plot, to pull out my calendar, to start figuring out how I'm going to create a master schedule, and that kind of feels a little bit like woozy and blah, 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 I want you to consider joining my yearly planning workshop. It's a 4-hour workshop where we actually are going to be doing a little bit of healing. It's going to be a beautiful collaboration with an incredible healer, my friend Diana Bertoldo, and we're going to release some of the blocks that are getting in the way for us moving forward. And then we are going to be able to start bringing in, understanding all of the pieces that you need to really perform at your highest, and actually having the time to plot stuff out and plan it so that you have the time to make this happen, so that you can walk away with a fully embodied and integrated structure and plan on how you can become more focused, more productive, more present, more powerful, and really quantum leap your results in anything that you're wanting to do. So in any way that we get to engage, I'm going to be really, really looking forward to it. And I cannot wait to get to know you. So if you want to join us for the workshop, I forgot to say this, if you want to join us for the workshop, the offer that I have in this page is going to be a one-time offer. You can still join it. It will be probably a different price point. So if you choose to do that now, you will get it at the most bottom line reduced price, and I probably will put a coupon code somewhere down below. Okay, so I hope that you join us, and I look forward to seeing you in the Facebook group and hearing how you are integrating all of these pieces and how your life and your business is changing. Until then, defy the ordinary, become extraordinary.